Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're live. Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just a couple of nerdy veterans geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, I have to say, somebody asked me in one of the emails to me directly, not to the show, about the podcast, and they wanted to know if the voice I use on the introduction was somehow in my past life I was ever a tour guide. And I will have to say to you who asked, yes, I was actually a docent for the Historical Society, and I did give tours at Valley Forge National Historic Park. And so we're walking, we're
stopping.
I did tours, yes, and that is probably the voice I used then too. But,
my past voice was announcing stuff after you get off a roller coaster, like the Matterhorn. Remain seated, please. Yo, somebody say centavos, por favor.
So yes, I did the official voice. People who said I should do audiobooks with that, I couldn't sustain that for like a 10-hour book. I can't even sustain that for like 2 minutes of introduction. So no, that's not happening.
I would pay double the book price if you did a romance novel in that voice with some saucy stuff.
Ooh.
I mean, I can't imagine the man hours I would have to take to do that, but I'm game to try. So you know what? If someone's got a fanfic they want to donate, I will read it in that voice, and you can donate all of your money to a charity of Nick's choice. We'll make it happen.
That could be fun.
That could be the plan.
I will remember that.
Madam Stabby does have a customer service voice.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, let's hear it.
Oh, come on, do it. Do it.
Thank you so much for calling Home Depot. How may I direct your call?
You're like Maggie from Prep and Landing. Okay, bye.
Absolutely, I'll transfer you to my manager right now. Absolutely. You have a wonderful day.
That's how you talk to me when you ask me for stuff.
Well, now you know.
That's the same voice when you ask me to do stuff, like favors.
She's manipulating you.
Oh, my God.
Now you know. So, Jana,
do
you have your customer service voice?
Oh, gosh, no. What you see is what you get. This is what I sound like all the time. I am not the voice person in my family. That is my husband, which is why he is the one that reads the story at night when we get together as a family. Because my daughter has said, no, Dad is so much better at this. You are boring. Dad gets to read the books. Okay.
You're like hurtful, but fair.
I used to read to the kids and sing to them at night when they were little. I think they were like 2 and 4. And I remember distinctly one night I was walking up, and I guess I was softer than normal up those steps. And I heard my oldest tell my youngest, if you pretend to go to sleep, he stops singing sooner. Like, oh.
I'm allowed to sing. The singing I can do, but I'm not allowed to tell the stories because Daddy is superior, and I'm okay with it.
So we know Terry has the customer service voice because she also has the narrator voice. So, and we've heard that on previous episodes. So,
I don't understand. Well, that's my author voice. That's not my work voice.
Oh, okay. Let's hear the work voice.
2 different things. You've reached this national park. This is Terry. How can I help you?
Okay. All right, we'll take it. If you have funny voices, you can join the shenanigans with us, dear listener, dear viewer. We won't be able to hear you on account of, but you could do it anyway. And I do believe you have a call-in feature over on Spotify with the Anchor FM. I don't know that anyone's ever used it, so I'm not sure how we would incorporate it. But
it'd be awesome.
We have techie friends. We could figure it out.
But on the listeners of Blasters and Blades podcast, on the Facebook, they can record themselves doing a voice and post it for our entertainment. And we could probably play it on here.
Wait. You can post voice stuff on Facebook?
You can post video of you doing voice stuff.
Yeah.
And you can probably post voice stuff too.
All right. I bet if you email the show with your MP3 file, we could do that too, incorporate it in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that seems like a lovely segment.
Well, we could do that. So. We could make it happen.
Let's do a drawing and let listeners join us on the podcast.
I mean, we've already let listeners join us. In season
we got
4,
here.
Yeah, in season 4, we got super reader Robin North on, and he's not an author. He's married to one, but I met him at a bar, so he's cool with us. But he's in season 4, and he's not a writer. We've had others that are just super fans, and we'll keep doing it if they want to join us and they've got strong opinions. Or weak opinions that they just want to shout loudly. We're okay with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just come on here and scream into the ether like everyone else does.
That is right.
Whee! And we have a good time here. We have cookies also.
So since you've been on here before, but we don't want to pretend like people might not remember with perfect memory. Terry, can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Hi, of course. I am Terry K. Job, audiobook narrator of 4 titles so far, possibly some more coming soonish. And baby author who's being edited currently.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
For my first edit, I wrote a blog article about tears of blood, or how I learned to bend over and take it like a man.
Whoa.
That was the article I wrote about my first edit.
Wow.
Fun.
Whoa.
So my mom is updating the website, so I'm not even sure if it's still out there. But if it is, I will find it and link to it.
Links
or it didn't happen, people. All right. So Jenna S. Brown,
Yes.
sometimes cosplaying as Jenna Ray, sometimes cosplaying as Chuck Tingle, and sometimes cosplaying as a lot more that we can't talk about. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
You trying to get us whacked, man? What are you doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're going to be in trouble, man. I'm Jenna S. Brown, also Jenna Ray and various others. I have been working in publishing in one way or another for the last 30 years, meaning that I've done technical writing and written for newspapers and written for magazines and run magazines and been an editor and a senior editor and lots of other things. I have 17 books out, and I love what I do. I work with other authors, and it is the bestest job ever.
So your resume is as thick as a novel.
Pretty close. If I start breaking it down, it's significant.
I just got one of her books.
You just got one of her books?
Yeah.
There might be another one coming to you in the mail. I think you'll like it. I think you'll
that
approve.
cover is delicious.
Isn't it?
I like
love
it.
it.
Let's see. Do we have the cover where we can show it?
Is that my sexy cowboy?
No,
Or which one is it?
female
Happy.
ODST, it looks like. Helmet and some cyborg stuff.
The one you sent me yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's the newest one. That's my new lead magnet. So yeah, that one's military sci-fi with a romance, because I can add romance to anything.
No, that cover's awesome.
I'm sending it your way.
I'm upset that
Jared.
I've never seen this cover before, actually.
Yeah, like I say, I created it 2 days ago, so it is a brand new, fresh off the presses kind of thing.
I dig it.
Okay. Well, we do what we got to do, and we're breaking all new ground here, and we will take the win.
Woo!
It's the season finale. Anything goes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All kinds of things could happen.
So
Awesome.
we have not had you on for the holiday stuff that we've done, and since this will air right before New Year's, do you guys have any New Year's traditions or plans this year?
Probably make sauerkraut of some kind.
Ooh.
Possibly with pork chops or hot dogs in it. I don't know.
Das ist ausgezeichnet.
What Nick said.
Yeah,
I do
that's
pork
outstanding.
roast.
I'm a little translator.
I do pork roast with sauerkraut and a can of beer in the crock pot.
Oh, nice.
The time we did it with Guinness was really good.
I have never been able to get behind sauerkraut. I just don't like the way it tastes. I know my German ancestors are rolling in the graves.
Yeah, you're just
Next thing you know, you're something like schnitzel.
My Scottish ancestors would be upset too because I tried haggis and it wasn't for me.
Come on, that's a dish created by a dare.
Yeah,
that's exactly what that
was
is.
Totally an on a dare.
I did do snuff, the stuff, the tobacco you sniff through your nose. You perverts in the audience, it isn't what you're thinking. I did the nose tobacco. That was an interesting experience. I thought my head.
Got it. Okay, so there's a cultural thing going on between Europe and the United States of what snuff is. And so when I was in Germany, I was with some German paratroopers. We were doing a jump exchange, and at the time, I was dipping Copenhagen snuff. And he's like, "Oh, is that snuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can I get one?" I'm like, "Sure." And I see him, and he takes like a little pinch. I'm like, this dude's doing the smallest pinch ever, because he was going to put it up his nose.
Oh, gross.
And instead of telling him, I'm like, let's see how this plays out. So
Of course you did.
he snorted it like nose candy. And he's like,
Oh,
oh,
that can't be good.
Ooh.
So he
Wow.
brings, thank God he had like a nasal, what's that thing you use? The nasal spray?
My nasal spray.
Yeah.
So he does a full just irrigation of his nasal cavity. Just he's like, that is not like we have here. That's not like you did at all. And I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to put it in your lip. He's like, you could have told me. And I'm like, no, it's funny this way, bro. He was mad. He was mad.
Oh,
So
that's just.
Oh, that hurts my nose thinking about it.
if Teresa is still sending me mason jars, I will make sure to send you some pork and sauerkraut.
We will get on that post haste. But this is the cover with the female ODST, as Nick has described her.
She's cool looking.
See,
Happy
is she pretty?
Wenceslaus, sir? What is Wenceslaus?
It's so this was written for a holiday challenge, and so you needed to do military sci-fi with a romance and the holidays involved. And so Wenceslas is from Good King Wenceslas Looked Down from the song.
Okay.
And so it's a holiday on one of the core worlds that this whole thing connects to. And she gets put in. So this story was funny because it started from a story that my husband had read about a military officer who had provided the booze and hooked up two of his the folks that he was commander over.
Oh,
and it was
Captain
all
Moore?
a big it was all a big scandal kind of thing. And so I took that and rolled with it. And so her commanding officer calls her in and says, our famed lieutenant, who's supposed to be, our hot shot, is not behaving well. You're a pretty young girl. Here's a bottle of booze. Go fix him. And she decides to go with pie instead. And then they get attacked, and there's all sorts of shenanigans and things exploding, and the two of them get separated, and we have to find out if they ever get back together. So,
I had a pie today that was made with Snickers shavings.
Ooh, Snickers pie is great.
Delightful.
Okay.
You still have a whole pecan pie.
I will get to that.
Also good. Never too much pie, guys.
Good to know. And as part, are you guys going to have your moment, or can we go on?
Whoa, no need to be a schnitzel about it.
I'm just saying we got to tell them how we first found these guests. So, as usual, 3 ravens, and then Stabby joined the fan club, started a cult. They have their own little special secret group now on Facebook where the ladies just talk about us.
There's a handshake.
There's a handshake, but they won't tell me what it is. They won't tell Nick either. For those of you not watching at home, you just missed it. Terry was going to show you the secret handshake, but you decided to listen instead.
It's
you don't know. I may have thrown some off things in there. I'm not going to reveal the whole thing.
If you show that one, that means kill on sight. John Wick approves.
So, Jana, what are your New Year's traditions?
Sleeping. I'll be perfectly honest. By the time we've finished all of the Christmas shenanigans, and we have a child that is still, she's on that verge of being old enough to stay up until midnight. But if she does, I will pay for it the next day because she will be hyper as all get out. So we generally kind of celebrate midnight at around 10 and go to bed. And especially this year, we're finishing. My niece is getting married the day before. So we're just going to be eating leftover cake and hanging out and watching TV, and then we will go to bed because we are boring for New Year's. Christmas is the big thing. New Year's is the deep breath before school starts again.
Okay. So what about everyone's favorite drink for the New Year's? I mean, some people are boring and they do wine and champagne. Some of us...
I feel attacked. Well, she feels attacked, therefore I feel attacked.
Some of us
I was just going to say guilty.
Some of us like a good bourbon or whiskey, but you could be fancy. So what's your New Year's drink? Jana?
I like so we do a mix of apple cider and cranberry, and then you can go one of two directions. We either take it mulled, and so you add your spices to it, and you can spice it up from there if you want to, or take it cold and add 7-Up and crushed ice to it. So that way you can go
Sounds
either
good.
direction. But I love starting with the cranberry and the apple, and that's all just kind of beautiful flavors, and then cinnamon and good things, and that'll keep us going for a long time.
Nice.
It
What about
sounds
you,
delightful,
Terry?
actually.
Yeah, it's very light. Goes nicely. Go, Terry.
Nice. I say I'm pretty boring. If it's wine, I usually drink Manschwitz because I'm a wuss when it comes to wine.
Some of that stuff's scary, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, but I will say Manschwitz is very tasty and cheap.
Yeah, cheap is good. Stabby, what about you? What's your end of the year drink of choice?
We always have a bottle of champagne. We have a fully stocked bar. So really it's whatever we're feeling. We recently learned how to make what they call the Grinch, and it's a mimosa with blue Curaçao in it. So it's green like the Grinch.
Nice.
But we kind of find a new one every year. We have an app that you put everything that you have on your bar into it, and it tells you the different drinks you can make. So we'll find a new drink for like every holiday. We find something else. Last year it was a grenadine cranberry vodka something or other. I can't remember what it was called, but usually we always have a bottle of champagne in the house because I am a wine and champagne person. And I will mix it with almost anything. I'm currently doing watermelon cranberry juice with a little bit of vodka in it. But I was just thinking when I was drinking, I was like, what if I put champagne in there instead of vodka? It just depends.
Been doing lots of
set on a drink.
I've been doing lots of screwdrivers when I want a little bit of pep in my step. I got some Sky vanilla vodka that's really good. I bought it when I was in grad school and I was in Philly, and I was told that they were shutting down this Packy store, I think they called it, which was the like alcohol store, because it was weird in that when I was there, you had to go to a beer store for beer, a wine store for wine, and a booze store for booze. I don't understand why you had to go to 3 different stores to stock yourself. But the guy was like, "Oh, we're closing down, Mr. Handley. Yeah, this is our last day in business." And he said, "If you come back right at closing, I'm allowed to give you a discount on whatever we got left." So I showed up with cash because the register was going to be on. I found out from the neighbor that worked for Pennsylvania Department of Transportation that I probably bought stuff that was classified as falling off the back of the truck because, he probably did not register those sales with the company at the end of the day. But I don't know. So I had like a fully stocked, a whole bunch that I'm still working through even, 10 years later, or over 10 actually. And
so
I remember coming back when we were moving out of Philly to come back to Hampton. They were giving one of the tours, and so I was working at a coffee shop, and I had hundreds of pounds of coffee and lots of bottles of booze. So it's just nothing but coffee and booze. And one of them was like, "Is this guy an alcoholic?" I'm like, I have to be walking in, and I'm like, "No, I just rationed stuff and got some really good prices."
You should see the way they look at us when we have to restock the bar. It's usually once a year, but we go to our liquor store around the corner, and we come up with like, I have 2 bottles, he has 2 bottles, and we set them down, and they're like, "Is that it?" And we're like, "No, we're not done." And we go.
Why don't you just ask for shopping cart like a civilized human being?
It's not that kind of liquor shop. It's not. It's like your corner store liquor store. It doesn't have cards. You're there for juice, soda, or booze. That's it. Like they have a couple bags of chips, but that's
in Virginia, you have to buy your hard liquor at the ABC store, Alcohol Beverage Commission. So, and they do have shopping carts because the state wants to facilitate our alcoholism.
Well, if we go to Bevco or Bevmo, they have shopping carts, and that place is dangerous. We found a whiskey in an old school paint can.
Nice.
Like
oh wow!
It was a black bourbon.
Like it's awesome.
So you should check out. Sam's Club and Costco, big box stores like that, they will have sometimes really good prices for beverages.
That's why I buy my vodka.
And Bullet when I'm feeling froggy.
I just want
yeah.
you to know how important Virginia takes our alcoholism. That was one of the too important to close businesses during the Rona.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send you a video when we do our next Costco run. You're going to die because it's 3 aisles. 3 aisles of just big old bottles of booze. But Terry, if you like wine, I'm a white wine girl. I'm not big on red wine. If there's red wine in my house, it's for beef stew or chili or anything
Or
but
me.
to drink.
Wait. Red wine and chili? Go on. Tell me more.
Yes. I put red wine in my chili and I put it in my beef stew, and it mixes with the tomato sauce and the crushed tomatoes. It's so good. It makes it very rich. It's delicious, and it cooks the alcohol out of it because I do it all in the slow cooker.
So Nick,
Yeah,
I'm
Stabby,
proposing.
you can come hang with me.
I'm proposing a name
right
change for the podcast. It's going to be Blasters and Blaze and Booze because that somehow comes up in every episode. And we got to figure out how to find a B word for food because we always talk about booze and food on this show.
Bacon.
How did I not miss the obvious? I don't know.
But Terry, if you want a bottle of wine and it's delicious, I am typically a white wine person. I found this Moscato because I thought the bottle was pretty. I was like, this bottle is so pretty. I need this bottle of wine. It's called Rosada Moscato di Asadi, and it is so flipping good. It is a blue bottle. The glass is blue, and it's the most beautiful bottle that I've ever bought. I was like, it's gorgeous. But the wine is actually, it's like not too sweet, but not too dry. It's a really good wine. And as for you, JR, Sky Vanilla, if you like that, try the Sky Watermelon Vodka.
Oh, well, no, that's not.
I will check that out. I haven't had to buy liquor since 2006 because I stocked up so much. I mean, hey, I had my combat pay and I had spent it on nothing for a year.
That had to be quite the accident on the booze truck.
Yeah, I'm just seeing him explaining it to his boss. I'm like, I don't understand. A whole 12 boxes just disappeared.
Well, the Sky Watermelon, it tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher.
So that's the problem with the Sky vodka is it's so smooth. The Sky Vanilla vodka is so smooth you could like be plastered before you realize you've drank that much. So I actually mix it with the orange juice because the vanilla and the orange juice, for some reason they work. And 2, like I'm portioning it out intentionally so there's no sneaking up on it. So be sure to drink your Ovaltine. So anyway, anyone else have any cool New Year's plans that they're going to do?
What's your drink?
It's the same thing I drink every night, Pinky.
Death and despair.
Death and despair. My hopes and dreams. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's usually a bourbon. I'll start off with a bourbon. I do like it just starts getting cold enough here in San Diego. Where like a hot toddy. It's pretty good. A little cinnamon stick in there. I do enjoy those. Anything bourbon based. And then New Year's Day, I like mimosas because I have my inner basic girl, so I gotta have mimosas for brunch.
Okay.
And then I'll usually make like eggs Benedict in the morning, so that all pairs well.
We just got brandy for our eggnog.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make brandy Alexander's, but that's mostly for Christmas night.
Okay.
We do champagne at midnight
On Christmas?
on New Year's Eve.
So
we always do champagne. That's kind of a given.
Look at the camera, not each other.
New Year's Eve.
She's in the room. It adds comic relief.
You're still on a podcast, guys.
Sometimes I feel like we're all just watching the Garber therapy hour and are enjoying ourselves.
Oh, I
The best
couldn't
part
afford
is from
that.
my angle, they're on opposite sides, so they were actually looking away from each other if I look at the screen.
Yeah, the way the camera's placed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking over there, and she's
When I
like,
try to point at
There we go.
"Oh, you can arrange that? That's cool as hell."
You just toggle on the little screen and you can
Oh,
move
there's
around.
a cute little Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse hand. Oh,
People
that is
around.
delightful.
And Nick's had admin power for like 2 months at this point, and he's just now figuring this out.
And I got like 32 like pre-made banners just ready to go.
You don't have the one that says basic bitch problems?
Well, I haven't made it yet.
And now he has 33.
All right. So any special meals that you guys do on New Year's? Most of the time for us, it's just whatever leftovers are still left in the fridge from Christmas. It's our New Year's.
Charcuterie.
We do a charcuterie board.
What's
We
that?
get like a honey baked ham.
It's adult Lunchables.
Oh, okay.
essentially.
Okay.
Meat,
On a
meats
big
and
wooden tray.
cheeses and yep.
Mustards, assorted mustards. That's how you know you're an adult.
But we do
You
the
can add
whole
fruit and
table.
vegetables to it and really be an adult.
No, it's meat
Or
and cheese.
not. Chocolate. Put some
Jams.
chocolate in there. There you go.
Ooh,
That makes
I
it a
like your
salad,
style,
right?
Terry. Assorted
I mean,
chocolates too.
Chocolate comes from a plant, and plants are in salads, so
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Especially if
chocolate's
you get like
healthy.
the chocolate covered
veggie.
peanuts.
Yeah, there you go.
I've
Close
been
enough.
digging Sam's
It has
Club
to have
Members
room
Mark
unit.
brand. The Sam's Club Members Mark brand has chocolate covered raisins that are delicious. I've been loving those.
Chocolate covered blueberries. Big
Mhm.
fan.
Mm.
I'm not a fan of blueberries. I wish I could get behind the chocolate covered coffee beans because that's like caffeine wrapped in caffeine, but I just can't get
Buy
past the
the
thing.
coffee brand coffee ones.
Have you tried them?
Yes.
I got some of their buttered toffee nuts that look really good.
It's like a chocolate over a chip that tastes like coffee.
I will have to do that the
That's
next
too
time.
meta for me, man. That's too meta.
So
Aw. Hashtag mind blown.
she's been learning me some cooking stuff. So I just now learned that if you saved the bacon grease, you could use it when you cook.
Oh gosh, yes.
Why did
Oh,
no one
wow.
tell me this for the first 40 something years?
Wait a minute, what? Repeat.
I have been learning cooking stuff from you. You've been teaching me stuff.
Yeah, but what did you just say about the bacon grease?
You could use it when you cook on other food and give it
How
that
did you
bacon
not know
goodness.
this?
Nobody told me it wasn't in the user's manual.
I brought a jar of bacon grease from Vegas when I married Nick.
I mean, that
Yeah,
sounds like a hell
I
of a
don't save
dowry.
that shit.
I approve.
That jar is more grease on the outside than on the inside.
That is not my fault.
I'm
That
just
stuff's
saying,
tricky
like,
when you're trying to
I'm
pour it in the
enjoying
jar.
these things. So because we become the Blasters and Blades and Bacon and Booze show, if you've got any recipes you want to give us, you can post them in the comments. You can email us. All the things will be linked in the show notes or the link tree. And if we like it, we'll talk about you. And if we don't,
till
we'll
I
still
teach
probably talk about you.
Wait till I teach you how to make bacon wrapped meatloaf.
Wait.
I love doing that. It's so fun.
Oh.
Talk
You
to me
weave it all
again.
together and then
She
it
does.
makes like a little basket. And
Say it
it's
slow
beautiful.
and in your sensuous customer service voice for me, please. Just I need a moment.
Which one?
No, I wasn't talking to Stabby. I was talking to you, Nick.
Wrapped
I need you to read that to me.
meatloaf.
Then we make a blanket weave of bacon, sultry bacon, and we
All the
place
way
it on
around.
top of the meat loaf, and we cover it in 13 herbs and spices because KFC can kiss our ass, and then we put it in the oven.
Now, see, if you want to get real fancy around, middle of February, you can make bacon roses.
Those are also fun.
Yes.
JR,
Have done.
Whiskey burns when it goes up into the nasal cavity from my throat.
Oh,
So for those listening and not watching, I had on the bottom of the screen, I'll be in my bunk as he was reading to us about the covered food group. And so
Deconstruct your tent, you foodnographer, because we're talking about foodnography now.
Well, if JR is really good in 2024, I will share my grandfather's Sicilian meatball recipe.
No,
with
you won't.
I will.
Oh.
You do that, I'm putting it on the interwebs for everybody.
No, you won't.
So hopefully you get stationed on the right coast instead of the weird coast, and then we could do like potlucks or something.
The left coast, as we like to call it out here, because we're left with everything.
Well, anyway.
I'm the worst person to ask for a recipe from because everybody else is like, oh, it takes a quarter of a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I'm like, how much is my palm?
She measures it. What do you call it? I measure it by love. It's like, yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time with spices until it looks
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, until it
Yeah.
looks right.
Because it's going to be different depending on your amounts, and you can tell just by looking at it, this is how much it needs. There's places where you have to use science. Candy making, a certain baking, you do it precisely. But there's a lot of stuff where,
Close enough.
There's science, and then there's hand wavium.
Yep, and there's a lot of hand waving in cooking.
It's more like a coven. It's like witch's brew.
Well, duh.
My grandfather was Sicilian. I was his only granddaughter. He was like, okay, so here's how you measure your dry herbs. And he would pour it into his hand.
I hit the wrong button because I dropped my stupid mouse.
I'm like, what? Who's coming? There's a countdown.
We're in trouble now. Holy
Government
crap.
knew her secret recipe.
Dude, when you're in the middle of something, a countdown starts going off, you show your draws. A little bit.
Wow, that was a moment.
But at least it had nice music. So if I was going to die in 29 seconds, at least I can get a nice tune as I shat myself.
Well, now we know the countdown.
Did you see how my hands went up quick, bro? I was like, I didn't touch nothing.
The countdown. There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
I need to check on my modulator.
So the trick he always told me was, with your dry herbs, measure them in your hand, because then you crush them in your palms before you add them to your sauce or your meat, because it re-releases the
essential oils.
The essential oils of the dried herbs, versus just pouring them in and they are what they are.
Jesus Christ.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, he got it down. The food tastes good, so.
So we're going to pause for a moment while we shamelessly shill for ourselves, and then we're going to drop back into the booze, bacon, blasters, and blades.
Let my damn heart rate go down a little bit. Jeez.
I'm going to give Nick a time to go change his drawers, and we're going to play that beautiful commercial footage.
Ho, ho! Oh, hell. Is that sleigh bells ringing in your ears or a few rounds from an M60? You wanted the jolly fat man to bring Yuletide joy, but the season has gifted you with a heartbreaker and a life taker. Badass Santa. Grab your eggnog and camouflage candy canes. Strap on your bulletproof holiday stockings and prepare for thrills and kills. From bloodstained rebellion at the North Pole to a Black Ops raid on a distant planet, these 18 action-packed tales will show you Saint Nick as you have never seen him before. It's all you'll want for Christmas.
So I am still very proud of that anthology. One of my favorites that we ever produced. And so 2024 is going to be the year I learned marketing. And hopefully next year, everybody will be reading it and talking about it and begging us for sequels, because Nick and I have ideas. And we had some pretty bad Mamba Jamba elves. They went feral.
Oh, it was so awesome. That was fun. That's fun to contribute to.
Yeah, and I woke him up at odd hours because I was writing it, the first draft. And I'm like, so what would you do in this situation if you really had to kill him and you wanted to do it right?
Oh, the best was the 3 a.m. Luckily, I was on a bender. That's not true. I was just up late. There was also. But he, like 3 a.m., which was 6 in the morning for him. I don't think he slept at all. He's like, hey, for an infiltration method, if I wanted to make elves fast rope, what kind of like device or vehicle would I use? I'm like, dude, sleighs.
Mm-hmm.
you'd have like, the B or C team, a reindeer that could still kind of fly, and you just hook up to like a sleigh that's got like a drop hatch in the bottom, and it opens out the back and go nuts. It's like, oh my God, why didn't I think about that? I'm like, because it's 6 a.m. You're probably sleep deprived.
But we had fun.
There's a lot of sleep depravity and booze involved in that story.
But I mean, we kind of wrote that anthology on a dare. There's this iconic picture of Santa as like a merc kicking a door in, and I shared it every year. And finally, like one year, someone was like, if you write that as an anthology, I will guarantee you to buy 21 copies. And he did. He bought 21 digital copies. I don't know how he managed it, but he bought it a bunch and gifted it out. That's how he was doing it. He was gifting it out. And so he said, I will guarantee you 21 sales. And so I'm like, oh, hell. I kind of wanted it anyway. So I approached Nick with the idea, because if we're going to do spec ops, that's just not my area of specialty. So rather than just, rob someone's mental faculties of info, I'm like, well, I'll just write it with Nick, and then he gets a story credit.
So
now I'm known as an author.
In case
Weird.
anybody was wondering, if you remember that scene of Iron Man punching the Hulk, go to sleep, 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 go to sleep. I say that to my phone. JR, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Because my phone and Nick's phone are simultaneously bing, 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 bing. I'm like, silence your phone.
I just assume everyone else silences it because I have insomnia issues.
Well, you're lucky with a couple like us, because at any given hour, one of us is up. It's like we're taking shifts.
I don't fall asleep until right before he wakes up, so if I don't respond to you at 2 a.m., that's because I'm ignoring you.
And it's probably because I'm snoring and it's super loud.
So I've actually, come to think about it, co-written a short story with every one of my podcast co-hosts just for the fun of it. So Stabby, you're in trouble now. You're the last one. You're the last lady standing.
I come up with some good stuff.
Yeah, but not necessarily. Like, I might need a pen name for that kind of stuff.
It's not that kind of stuff, JR.
So Nick
pen name is Stabby anyway.
He has an entire file on his phone, because randomly we'll be out and about, and I'll have an idea about.
I call it Late Night Drunken Ideas. That's the title of it.
But a couple weeks ago, I was sitting there and I was like, "Hey, hon, we've talked about the Red String of Fate before." I was like, now what if we turn that into a comic book? And the only people that can see the red string are the two people that it's attached to.
Oh, hold on, I'll just read you the whole synopsis of that idea.
And we came up with like 2 a.m.
I call it Red Thread.
The whole comic book based on the Red String of Fate. So I do have good ideas. I just can't write.
Yeah, it's the story centers on two thread keepers as they work to preserve the red threads of fate that bring people together. Their biggest threat, besides not seeing their tied thread to each other, is keeping the cutters at bay. The thread keepers, timeless entities that preserve and protect the red thread of fate, and then you have the cutters, evil forces that try to sever threads to create chaos and imbalance in the universe.
Ooh, I like it. Go write it.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic.
That doesn't stop anybody.
There's like autocorrect and little
Editors.
red wavy lines at the bottom of stuff.
Remember oven
Dictation.
mitt today.
Dictation. There you go. You can dictate it.
I couldn't remember the word oven mitt today.
It happens. But anyway, so now you know where that story came from. And if you, dear listener, have any favorite holiday stories that are fit in the speculative fiction realm, you really should tell us, because maybe that'll go on the review for next year's Christmas season. And we really
I always love a good Krampus tale,
yeah.
Dear listener.
That was A Violent Night was one of the movies that almost made the cut. We just ran out of time.
Next year.
We noticed on Thanksgiving it was Halloween, we did an episode a day for a while because we did all the spooky stuff. And there was diminishing returns if we did more than 3 a week, episode-wise. So it just didn't make any sense. So
yeah, they were like, "Where's the sci-fi? Where's the fantasy?" Oh, well.
I mean, there was some
year.
sci-fi and fantasy.
We have to focus. Focus is good.
So yeah, 3 episodes based on holidays.
Yep. So, but anyway, so if you've got any favorite holiday movies, books that you want to talk about, send them our way, and we can add them to the rotation for upcoming seasons. So, in a perfect world, this podcast will be going long after Stabby, Nick, and I are like retired, and some new crowd of crazies will take it over, and it'll be like season 29 billion.
It'll be the machines. It'll be all done by AI based on our past episodes.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
we'll
speaking
be happy
of
on our homestead.
Atropia, that's right. So speaking of AIs, that is a topic we're going to bravely dive into, the for and the against on the topic of AI and creative spaces, and we decided to do them separate episodes so ideas could get discussed instead of people talking at each other, because we were afraid of that. But it should be interesting. So we will come up with something for that. But back to the Requiem for season 3. So do you guys have a favorite episode that we did in season 3?
Ooh.
I have
Mythical
mine if you need time to.
creatures.
Okay, it's a good one.
Mythical creatures was a lot of fun. There was a lot of debate about what a mythical creature was versus a monster, and
That created 2 extra episodes.
yeah, and it was so much fun. I liked mythical creatures.
Terry and Jana were both on that one, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on the paranormal one, and that was, when we decided that we must be fast friends because it was awesome and we had a good time.
I know
Those
Terry
were
was on,
friendship
Jana
really
wasn't.
took
Okay, I just
hold.
checked. All right. What
No,
about you,
but
Nick?
ours was the paranormal one. Paranormal was
Oh,
where
that's
Terry and I
right.
were both on. I think mythical creatures was the week before that, and I was trying to
Yeah.
Yeah,
kill
I was
myself,
on that one.
volunteer for all the things.
You guys
then
are on
they-
so many of them, it's hard to keep track anymore.
Yeah, we did a paranormal one, and that was really good. The paranormal
Like
was
those
kick.
pennies. We keep coming back.
But then we did
Can't get
fairy
rid of us
tales.
now. Mm-hmm.
Fairy tales.
And Fairy
fun,
Tales
too.
was awesome. Fairy Tales has a lot of things to go into. The King Arthur is always a favorite. I will talk King Arthur anytime with anyone.
So have you guys
Okay.
officially got a plan for the King Arthur comic book?
We're
After
working
the
on
first of the year, because things exploded around
the
here.
holidays,
but
man. Everything gets
after
wild,
the first
man.
year. hmm
Okay.
First year.
Then we're gonna do the things. It's gonna be awesome.
We're gonna talk about the Pendragon, the Regent, all of that stuff. We're
I
gonna
love
deep
the
dive
Regent.
into it.
All the things. It's gonna be great.
All the things. Be dragons and shit. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited. And Faye, there's
Faye?
a whole thing about the Faye that I've got worked up for you. So it's
And-
gonna be awesome.
And Percival.
You just wrote your marketing copy, your ad copy. There's dragons and shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
think it's very catchy.
I just learned about they released it in China. So I have another podcast that I watch, and she's South Korean and her husband is Chinese, and they kind of talk about the differences and stories and everything,
Mostly true crime.
and a lot of true crime. But they've been telling this story of this Fey land. It's like the night court, the spring court, the summer court, and it's all in Chinese folklore.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get enough of it. I'm like, I need the next episode. Why
Oh
don't
yeah,
we
the
have
Chinese
better
stuff is
episodes?
amazing. Amazing.
And it's beautiful.
Yes.
They do like illustrations, and it's like all watercolors, and it's gorgeous.
Nice. So what about you, Nick? Favorite episode?
I liked anything that was comic related. But I mean, not saying that the King Arthur Legend one, that was a good one. A lot of the fantasy stuff we did with the Fae, mythical creatures. It's hard to tell. It's like I almost got like a top whatever. The G.I. Joe one was a good one. The comic
Always.
and just the franchise itself. Like you can't break that topic down, and you can't encapsulate that into one episode. We broke it down into other stuff. So I could be cheesy and say, oh, all the episodes were great, but not all the episodes were great. Some of them were kind of lame. I'm going to admit that. I can do that as a responsible co-host. But I do have my favorites. All the ones that were energetic, mostly the ones with Jana and Terry, and Apple were great. I love having all these different experts in different things come on here because everybody contributes to the show. And I think that's what makes some of the best ones that we've done in season 3. We had a lot of
I do like the panels where we can get some of the same people back just because there's continuity of like, I don't want to say vibe because that sounds too woo-woo for me, but just like you've got a rapport already built, right? So it allows you to kind of riff off the cuff with each other a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
well, it's like when I was doing improv in high school. Yeah, I did improv. Send a make fun of me email.
That's awesome.
I like doing comedy. I've always a big fan of comedy. I was a big fan, like when I discovered what improv was. So like obviously a huge fan of Whose Line Is It Anyway, because that is an improv
such
show.
a good show.
Hell yes.
All the iterations, with Drew Carey up to
Alicia Tyler.
Alicia Tyler, thank you. I knew it started with an A.
Have you seen the British version of it?
Yes,
I have. I've seen a couple of them.
That was pre-Drew Carey. That was awesome.
Yeah, those are awesome. So anytime you have co-hosts or guests that you can like springboard off of each other, and kind of just create that vibe of just comedy. Those are the ones that I love the most because, as you can see, there's certain guests that we've had on here where we spring off each other and we're laughing as much in this space as you guys are probably listening to it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but those are some of the best episodes we have.
I actually took an improv as one of my electives in high school too, but I got kicked out and I was given an A for not coming back because he did some free associations of the first.
You got to keep your pants on, JR.
No, it was the first thing that pops. This is the first thing that pops into your mind, and he'd say some things, and so I did exactly what he told me to. I let loose. I just let my mind dump like we were taught to do, and apparently I scared the girls. So, and apparently when someone says trailer, if you answer park, that's not nice. Apparently, I learned that. And when they were talking like some of the geopolitical stuff, I would, I was a history nerd, so I knew all about war and dead people, and that freaks some people out who don't like school.
So you need to work on your word association drills.
Apparently, I need to work on it with a counselor, but I joined the infantry instead. So I was.
Someone says heart, and he's like crushed.
Yeah, I was with my people when I went to the infantry because they all got my dark humor.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was right in the club.
Oh, if you guys want to know how musical Nick can be, ask him about Pinocchio.
Is this a family friendly?
Wait, what are we talking about?
When you played in the Pinocchio play.
Well, now they're looking at each other.
I was
at least
in Pinocchio.
It works.
I was in a play. I was Pinocchio.
Right on.
I was young and thin. I also
Sweet.
was in The Sound of Music. I was a drama nerd because that's where all the girls were. And I did...
Brilliant.
Yeah, my drama teacher was like, I did this one little... It was a 2-person, 1-act play about like a first date. And it was called The Rendezvous. And I did that, and it was during a school function called the Ballyhoos. It was put on by the drama department. Students loved it because they were in the theater for like half a day while we just acted. So, and then after that, I was Pinocchio, and then they wanted me to try out for Sound of Music. And so, yeah, thanks for bringing up those memories.
Went from there.
That's awesome if you ask me.
So
I had fun.
I did the JROTC ROTC stuff instead, and then I wrestled and ran cross country. But mostly the cross country thing was just to officially legally train in the off season because we were doing it for a sport. That was the running joke. My high school cross country team would win no races, but we'd win every bar fight because it was all like football players and wrestlers that were training in the off season by running cross country. We were the buffer. If you could stay ahead of our team, you were doing okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like the protector of the drama department because I was on the football team and the hockey team.
We didn't have hockey.
And
then who did he fall for?
The drama nerd.
I was costume and makeup.
So
I
know
did
that
not
one.
be on stage. But if you need to look like a demon, I can make that happen.
Yeah, you want to recreate episodes of Angel and Buffy.
Good to
Nice.
know.
so Terry, do you have a favorite episode of the season? Since I know you also watch when you're not on because you comment to us.
I think it was probably the mythical creatures one.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
nice. That was fun. Actually, I think that was the first one I was on. Come to think of it.
Yeah, I'm glad we teamed up with Three Ravens with Hillbilly. And so I was like, well, I'd like to help some of the small presses, so I'll focus on getting their authors on because it helps. It's a win-win.
Mhm.
And that'll become more in season 4. We'll talk about that going forward. But and so I put the open call, and he even made a sub channel in the Three Ravens Discord about podcasts for people that us to seek out guests and topic ideas and stuff. And I'm glad we did because we met some really cool people.
Some of my favorite.
Yeah, I think it worked to everybody's benefits.
I think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
What about you, Jenna? Do you have a favorite episode? Does Jenna have a favorite episode?
Oh, like I say, I've enjoyed a whole lot of them. I did like doing the paranormal because paranormal is near and dear to my heart. I've got more UF stuff coming out this year, and so I've been delving into all of my paranormal background, and that's tremendously fun. G.I. Joe was a kick because it was like wandering around through our childhood. There's lots more to focus on all of these, and I think that's one of my favorite things is that this format this year, as you've introduced some of these panels, has given us a great place to give these great overviews. But on almost every episode, there are so many neat things that we can keep doing with it. And I love something that grows organically that way, that we can say, oh, yeah, we had a great time with paranormal, but now next time we really want to talk about paranormal Africa or paranormal Egypt. So I love that everyone's open to that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of the lame way of saying I'm enjoying all of them, but it's true because we get all of this input going on, and it's taking us to interesting places, which starts really cool stories. So always a win.
Yeah, it takes us to interesting places, like my mailbox.
So I guess I have several that I liked. I really liked the 2 game ones. So the Mischief and Malice episode, the card game. And in season 4, we're going to be working with the guest talks to get a session set up somehow digitally that we can show us playing as an episode, which is kind of cool. And then the Asheron's Fall, which was the other game episode where Nick and I went in too much money backing this product that's going to be a game. It's a tabletop.
$400, JR. $400.
Me too. And that EU to US conversion wasn't our friend at the end because it spiked at the last minute right before they closed sales. So
that's just rude.
Yeah, my price went up by more than I expected.
Starbucks cup.
I bought you a Starbucks cup. Got to wait for Santa.
But we got the we're going to do another one where it's through Steam. I'm not sure how we're going to stream that to you guys, but we're going to do the Asheron's Fall game digitally as well.
You stream it just like we do YouTube videos.
No. I mean, like, I don't know how we're going to record it to air it like a normal episode because it's not going to be streamed live.
Oh, I have no idea. Might have to do it live.
Well, the guests in both cases said they are tech savvy and would hook us up because it's free press for them and it looks fun. And we got all of our stretch goals back, so Nick and I we cleaned up.
And I get to destroy you on our podcast.
We have a bet of $20. I don't remember what we were going to do with the $20. Just we bet $20 of who was going to win.
I think we're going to put it towards a charity of our choosing.
Booze. That's her charity.
Not as altruistic of what we originally agreed upon, but yeah, I like booze.
There you go.
So those 2 were some of my favorites, and then I really enjoyed the episodes where we got nerdy, where Stabby bowed out, and it was Nick and I and a bunch of veterans and Doc Spears, and we just got nerdy about military stuff. You were welcome. You chose not to come on. You were welcome.
Well, she was like, "I'm not a vet. I've never done that stuff." And you guys are talking in another language. I can't keep up on that.
Okay, so here's my feeling on that subject. I love being on the podcast with you guys, even when I am battling a migraine or
Toothache.
a toothache because I'm going through some dental stuff right now. I still try to come on with you guys because I love being on. But when it's 8 vets and I'm just a brat, I've never served.
And we're talking in
Y'all are
acronyms.
just going. I just sit there like this.
Oh yeah, I remember that one QRF with this, and that, and it's all 3-lettered acronyms. I probably bow it too. I'm like, it's another language. I don't even speak this.
And it's all I can say is like, hey, I know this fireside story that Nick told me once.
And then I'm like, shh, that wasn't for public consumption.
That was so classified.
Really off. So I don't join on those.
Everybody around this fire pit has a security clearance.
What am I gonna say?
Yeah. No,
you have to know your audience.
No, that's okay. You were welcome though. But no, I enjoyed those episodes just because you get different perspectives on the military. Like when we had Peter Nealon on, who was, Spec Ops from the Marine side, and Doc was a different era, or Jeremy Spires, who came after me. So his experience was vastly different than mine, even though he was a GWAT guy. So those were fun. And I really like some of the stuff where we branched out to do different things, like the panels this year, like where we used to call them fireside chats because they were so rare. And it was almost like a panel at a con where like person A speaks, person B speaks, person C speaks. And we did one of those where it was the Halloween in season 2, I believe, where we were talking about horror. And we introduced the topic. It was the one where the Bane, Tony Weiskopf from Bane was on. And we introduced the topic, and then they just started talking. I literally had to interrupt to do the commercial, and then they just kept talking. Like I didn't even have to say anything. I'm just like, uh-huh. And that's when I realized that if we do it more conversationally and less panel-like, you get the third person isn't what Bob said because they'd already gotten the same answer. And that's when in season 3, Nick and I realized that the conversation was more fun than the panel. And so we stopped calling them fireside chats, even though that kind of tie back to radio past was neat. So I've enjoyed that format shift. I really enjoyed the movie reviews, the retro movie reviews we did in conjunction with Upstream reviews.
Those have been fun.
The sponsor,
Indiana Jones one.
Oh, that was really popular.
It was really fun.
The ones that were the most frustrating were the ones where Disney was involved, which was the Black Hole and the season 1 of that. What was it? A show, and
then Ahsoka. Yeah,
Ahsoka, because Disney will copyright strike no matter what you do. So
it's an algorithm.
I ended up just going straight to the 7-day review because I know, like, we're within fair use doctrine. So we're good.
And we won that.
We won every time, but they don't even contest it. It's like we're like pimping your stuff. Why aren't you like supporting this, right? But I think
I did have a tirade about Ahsoka, so they probably don't like that.
Well, actually, we learned something with the Disney.
So
we learned something with the Disney episode. Everybody either loves it or hates it, so they want you to bash it completely, and they just watch for the rants, or they love it, and any critique is like you're the devil. But nobody wants nuance on those episodes, so I don't think we're going to really do any more Disney reviews. It's just not worth it.
We've done a few of them though. Like, technically speaking, Disney owns Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but that's not
whole Prep and Landing.
Yeah, but nobody really associates those with Disney. Not really. They don't realize it's Disney.
The mothership, yeah.
Prep and Landing was technically an ABC property. It's just Disney bought ABC.
Yeah, they've owned that for a while.
No, I know, but people don't instantly hear Prep and Landing or Indiana Jones and go, "Oh, that's Disney." And the Black Hole is so old. Like, I mean,
nobody. Yeah, they don't associate that with that.
So I don't care that Disney owns it.
X-Men.
Yeah, no, I don't care that Disney owns it. I care that if it's iconic Disney, you're going to get either the very extremes and there's just no room for nuance. And I'm just, part of the fun is dissecting the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Absolutely.
So Nick tells everybody that he's married to a Disney adult.
Because I am married to a Disney adult.
He says he calls me a Disney file.
Disney file, yeah.
It's true.
I love Disney. I love Disneyland. I can't wait to see Disney World when we finally get to move.
It's the best.
I'm super excited.
And during the summer, they got misters everywhere that
So
keep you
excited.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the food. I love food. I've seen the food videos of Disney World versus Disneyland.
Epcot is the shit when
so
it comes
excited.
to food.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still things that even I can step back and be like, should you have done that? Probably not.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Last to know.
No, you know my feelings on it, and we'll discuss it offline. Because I'm not trying
Why
to
do I
go
feel like I'm in
political
trouble?
You probably are.
Probably.
But, like, I'm trying to find the right words without going, like, overboard. No, it's more, I really think that they need to pull everybody off the board and start over.
Ooh. Okay, like, of all their properties?
No, I'm okay with them owning all their properties.
Or are you talking about Marvel specific?
Not even just Marvel.
Okay.
Marvel, Doctor Who,
That's not a Disney property.
princesses. I just think they need a whole new team.
I'm all about the new things.
Because I think, personally, you're taking something that we all grew up with and we all looked up to for a reason and turning it into something that's not what it always was. I tell Nick every year, I can make a Tinkerbell tree for Christmas. My mother is a Hallmark freak. And I get a Tinkerbell Hallmark ornament from her every year since I was born. My very first one actually sits on our piano. It's a Precious Moments 1987 Tinkerbell.
Dude.
And I was tiny growing up. I was short. I was underweight. Like, I was a tiny little thing. But I had a bad attitude.
Shocking.
With a bunch of blonde hair on my head. And she's like, you're my little Tinkerbell. And
All right.
growing up, I'm like, I saw myself as Tinkerbell. I
Wrap it
never
up,
saw
honey.
myself-
We're going to start playing music like the Oscars.
Okay. I never saw myself as Cinderella, Snow White, anything like that. I saw myself as Tinkerbell. And they're just changing it. So it definitely, I would definitely change that. Yeah.
We'll do an episode on that.
I think you stumbled onto a potential episode, and we'll dive deeper without turning the Requiem for season 3 into the Disney hour. But
I was wondering where she was going, and then I looked at her cup, and it's almost gone. And I'm like, oh, there it is.
No, it was because you were talking about Disney always going against our episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's
That's what I'm
algorithmic,
looking
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I also learned
I was wondering where that was going.
we also put in some disclaimer language in
right.
the show notes now that a lot of people do that helps with I don't know if it makes a difference, but in the podcasting community, they seem to think that it does. All right. So for season 3, is there anything that you're proudest of? I'm going to go first. Season 3 is when we when we went outside of our comfort zone of just Anchor FM and YouTube, and we branched out, and we are now on Rumble and BitChute. We tried a few of the Odyssey, but it was too freaking confusing, and I don't have time to get a PhD to use their website. So we were like,
did we get on Spotify too?
Spotify is Anchor FM. They own it now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah.
So going wide, we were kind of proud of because that took some figuring out. But we built a little community over on BitChute and Rumble. A lot of the BookTube community left YouTube when they were getting copyright strike for terms of service. Like a lot of the romance writers would review books that had man chest, and they're like, "Oh, that's indecent. You can't show that here." Never mind some of the stuff that's actually on YouTube that we won't talk about. But so a lot of them said, fine, we'll take our audience and go somewhere else. So a lot of the book community, there's a decent amount on BitChute and on Rumble. Although Rumble's mostly political right now, they're actively trying to recruit talent outside of the politics sphere, left and right. So I think, we're there waiting, we're steadily growing. But BitChute has a decent amount of readers we weren't reaching until we went wide, essentially, with our podcast, which that is my proudest decision. So Doc hooked us up with some people from Kennesaw State marketing, and that was their recommendation. The students did their master's project, I guess, with our podcast, like how you would increase reach. And that was one of the recommendations. And we took it. And I'm pretty proud that that's been working out for us. But what about everyone else? What is the thing they're proudest of from this season?
The new format.
Yeah. It's been a lot more fun, a lot less stress, a lot less prep work involved. So I was spending way too much time like prepping these episodes. And like throwing the script away has been helpful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we kept a few things just to the conversations rolling, and then after that, we just sit back and hold on.
We kept the religion question for reasons.
Let the show. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a staple of the show. People expect that of us, the religion questions. We keep coming up with fun stuff. We had a couple of really interesting ones during the holiday episodes. Like what movie wrecked your childhood? And it was like Never Ending Story, Land Before Time, and what was I don't remember what the third one was.
Old Yeller was on the list.
Old Yeller, Bambi, stuff like that. Where it's like, oh my God, there's a real world, and it kind of sucks.
All of the above.
All of them. Yeah. So yeah, I like the adaptability that we've been able to throw into the show and make for interesting radio and YouTubing and visual.
It's less formulaic, which makes us less predictable. So I think when guests started, or when listeners started telling me they could predict what was going to happen in the show, I'm like, well, that's how you make them tune out. So I'm glad we made it. But
it's like, I know you're going to ask 42 questions, and these are the questions that are going to happen. And we're like, oh man, unpredictable. Ew.
Not that.
So did you have anything to add, Stabby? I know since they're just frequent guests and friends of the show, I don't know that they would necessarily feel proud about anything we've done other than their own contribution to the awesomeness, which they should feel proud of.
They definitely should. They're regulars, and regulars, are my bread and butter, because we have built that rapport where we can just bounce off of each other and have a conversation and have fun with it. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of is not only did we branch out beyond just sci-fi, but, and military and mil sci-fi, but we branched out. We do things like Prep and Landing, where it's more cartoon, Disney, fun. We did horror and creature features and everything like that. We did mythical creatures. Like we bounced around a lot more, but we also brought in some of the most amazing and fun people. Like, we changed the format, we changed this, we changed that, but some of the people we brought in, i.e. Terry, Jana, Apple, Michael LaVoice, they're so much fun. And when you bring fun people in and just people that you can have a good conversation with. Not like you're just going through the motion, you're reading the question, you're doing the answer, you're moving on to the next question. Like, you can just bounce off of each other. I think that has to be one of my favorite changes. Going from a listener to being one of the co-hosts on this show, it's been one of the funnest parts of it, is meeting new people and just making that connection and having a good time with it. Because our listeners, they see our connections with these people, and then they want to read their stories. They want to listen to their audiobooks. They want to go and figure out why we like these people so much. So not only are we helping ourselves, but we're helping our writers and our artists and everything as well. I think that's just amazing. It's the reach that we have found ourselves in.
Speaking of that, we're gonna excuse me, pivot from there. What are our plans for season 4? Because we're at the hour mark, so we got time to wind down slowly.
I don't know, JR. You tell me. I just show up and I roll with the punches, and sometimes I ramble.
So we did have a request from.
I sympathize.
Sponsor the overhead at the bare minimum to keep StreamYards for another year, and he wanted us to review the movie Beastmaster as one of our retro reviews. So of course we're going to do that. It's going to break Nick's heart. He loves that movie. But so
Childhood favorite.
I would like to see more movie reviews because they're fun to do, especially if they're movies I can watch with the kids, and then talk about it with them as part of the prep, because then it's just fun family time. Obviously, all the movies we review that won't be possible, but we certainly watched Prep and Landing with the boys.
Sword in the Stone, Page Master. I mean, I got a list, bro.
Yeah. So I want to do more movie
was a good one.
reviews. Page Master was a good one. I want to do more of retro movie reviews and maybe some more current ones. Just for fun. I want to do more book reviews. We didn't really do as many in this season, for reasons, mostly time.
Yeah, one of them is I can't read.
But I want to do some more book reviews. But I'm going to need them in audio because that's how I listen. And unfortunately, a lot of the indie people aren't in audio. So I'm working on finding some end runs to time. Somebody recommended. Yeah. My budget is nil, but somebody recommended an app called Speechify. I guess it can read it to you, almost like audio. It's a machine voice, but I'm going to look into how user friendly that is and what I need.
Apple products, if you have a PDF and you're using an iPad or an iPhone, it will dictate to you.
Interesting.
It'll read it for you and tell it to you.
We're going to keep doing the author interviews because they're fun. We're going to try, I think, for some bigger names this year. Just, we've been trying for R.A. Salvatore, but timing and such just hasn't worked. I'm sure all of us have some big names we'd like to get. Eventually they'll happen, but I don't have forever to chase down their PR people. So, catch as catch can. I really enjoy that we can shine the light on indie authors, though, that aren't getting as much press, because, we can spread the love. I mean, obviously we want to get enough that we can get our audience, because that is my goal for season 4 is to grow the audience. So that would be it. I'd like to, when we were still Sci-Fi Shenanigans, we interviewed Rainbow Sun Franks, who played Lieutenant Aiden Ford in Stargate Universe. I asked him on a whim because it was a classic sort of sci-fi film series or a TV series, and he said yes. And so I'm like, well, I bet there's other actors from some of the older series, like from the 80s and 90s that we all loved, that would probably, they're not so big for the britches anymore, that we couldn't get them. So that's it. So Stabby and I have a plan. I'm going to write out a template, get it proofread to high heaven, and then she's going to use that template to plug and play while she's supervising homeschooling to see if we can't get some of these people to show up and do some author interviews. Like, I mean, I'd love William Shatner. Probably couldn't get him, but maybe, somebody else.
That sounds like a dare.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I'm not afraid to get told no. So sheer stubbornness is my superpower. So
we get a Ouija board, we could get Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, or the guy that did
I don't like Ouija board.
Scotty. We could get Scotty if he's still around. Yeah. We could get him on.
He's not.
Ouija board. The new Scotty, that's Simon Pegg.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a tall order, honey.
That would be.
Shit.
Well, like I said, we're going to see what we can do. Get some actors from some of the iconic speculative fiction properties, be they sci-fi, fantasy, horror, urban fantasy. I don't know. Anything that's speculative fiction, they're within the realm of possibility. If we can get some of those actors on to talk about it. I do know when we interviewed Rainbow Sun Franks, he did say if we talked aliens, he wants to come back. He had some ideas. So I was thinking about an alien conspiracy theory episode and definitely get him on for that because I promised.
Yeah, let's break my computer again. That's a good idea.
So,
mouse and a new keyboard.
I do have something to say, though, about how we've been doing the show and the guests that we've had. I've had a lot of friends that have had writer's block or they've given up entirely in writing. A lot of them have watched the show because they were shocked that I was on a podcast and they want to listen to me for an hour. And I'm like, I don't talk the whole hour. But they got on, they watched a lot of past episodes with some of the guests that we have on here tonight. And it said Reed lit the fire in their creative anima and wanted to write again or draw again. So I think we underestimate what kind of effect we have on our viewership, because there's a lot of people out there that were just kind of looking for that nudge to get back into it. So kudos to everybody on board. We were able to do good thing and put more writers and artists back into play. So
Well, that is
thank you.
good. So obviously we're
Got a
going
little
to be
teary-eyed a little bit.
Creating tribe. That's what we do.
Yep, we're obviously going to be doing more of the panel episodes because they're fun and they're easy to prep for. Just wrangle a few guests and go.
We might have to get the kitchen coven back together and talk about recipes.
Woo!
Or no, someone said kitchen witches, but I think kitchen
We're
coven
kitchen
is
witches.
catchier.
Hey, kitchen coven I like. I'm digging kitchen
Yeah.
coven.
Yeah, alliteration.
You
I
guys
like
should get together and write a cookbook.
Let's make that
With
a
your
thing.
We could do that.
cooking
Yeah,
with-
we probably could.
We could
I
actually
call
do a
it kitchen
sub
coven.
episode. Like we could do a side like line of episodes of cooking with the coven or something.
Oh, dude, that'd be great.
Ooh.
Now I
Yeah.
gotta think.
Luckily, I get to be a guest and take notes.
And well, you would actually be in person to eat the food, which is a win.
Oh God, I love my life.
So obviously, this is something I've told Nick about, but he kind of forgot about. We've had on the episode every year the indie Cyberpunk Day, and I realized there's no indie comic books day. So I'd like
There
to
is.
Is there? Why have I not
Yes.
noticed about this? You
It's
haven't-
the first week in August.
Why haven't you arranged guests for that?
Because it's his birthday.
Because it's my birthday in that week, man.
I feel disappointed, Nick. You need to do better.
He's
All
busy.
right, I'll do
Do you
better.
understand what I do for him the first week of August?
Well, tell them to move
La, la,
it.
la, 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 la.
Yes.
It's indie yeah, definitely plug your ears. It's probably
No.
not.
We usually do Universal Studios.
Yeah.
We do Downtown Hollywood. We do the Walk of Fame, Madame Tussauds. A lot of eating, a lot of
Geek
food,
shit.
a lot of walking. And then the following week is my birthday. And then the following week after that is our anniversary. August is off limits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'll try to
August
arrange some
10th.
guests for Indie Comic Day.
All right. Well, maybe we could do our version of it, like not on the exact day, but leading up to it, where we pre-record it and then air it that day. There you
Oh,
go.
absolutely. Brilliant thinking. That's why you're the boss, folks.
So, and finally, my goal for season 4 is I'd like to see if we could become fiscally solvent year over year to cover the things like the book reviews. So, because we out of pocket the movies and the books that we review. So, if we could get enough of a
But I
fund,
love the books.
I do. If we could get enough of a donation base that we can cover some of that, even if it comes with stipulations, I'm paying for you to review this movie. Like I'm cool with that. So that's the goal, is to see if we can get a little bit of the cash flow to cover our expenses year after year. Because like we say, we're only half joking. These aren't free to produce. We don't mind. We have fun doing it. This is our sanity safe space. But we are, that's the goal for 2024 in season 4. But what about you, Nick and Stabby?
For season 4, I just want to keep doing what we're doing, man. Inspiring people and having good conversations with good people and having a good time and, giving our audience what they want. So I do want to do more retro sci-fi movie reviews, like stuff from the 50s, like Tarantula or
Nice, the blob.
Food of the Gods, or things like that. The Blob, I would love to do the 50s Blob, or it might have been 60s.
The stuff.
The Stuff, yeah.
Ooh, you
that's
could
a
do
good
the
one.
Boris Karloff version of The Mummy.
I love
I know
Boris
that
Karloff.
one.
I know that one. The Cat's Eye. There's so many things that Lugosi and Karloff did during that time that need to be reintroduced into people that don't know what a corded phone is.
Classic stuff.
Classic stuff. It's that's what made me fall in love with horror and it was the Universal monsters. So, and then maybe some kaiju stuff, like some classic Godzilla stuff. I'd like that
Go,
as
go,
well.
Godzilla. Yep.
Yep. Gojira.
Gojira.
Oh wait, turn your mic on.
I was saying Pacific Rim is a lot of fun. I like seeing all the monsters together. Don't get me wrong, I love Godzilla, but I love seeing Mothra come into it. I love seeing King Kong come into it. I love seeing all of the monsters. Like, that is so much fun for me. We all know I'm the horror freak. I'm the scare queen. I'm that person, and I cannot wait for next October.
Disclaimer, these are all self-proclaimed titles.
I'm gonna stab you.
I'm not trying to welcome challenge.
But I think for 2024, I think the thing I want the most when it comes to the podcast is I just want to keep having fun with it. I don't want it to ever get boring. I don't want it to ever get, like, oh, it's another Monday, it's another Tuesday, it's another Thursday. I want it to be fun every time. I want it to be, I get to see Jana today, or I get to see the voice today. Like, I want it to be exciting.
And Terry, don't leave Terry out.
Terry, I love Terry. Speaking of
We
which,
love Terry.
me and you were talking after the show, but I love, Christmas cards didn't go out today like they were supposed to, so
They're coming. They'll just be late.
they're just running a little late. I was tired today. But I love the people that we've connected with, and I want to connect with more. And I want us to build our community bigger than what we are at. I want it to keep getting bigger, and I want us to all connect. Perfect example, we're syncing up with Pittman to see what Comic-Cons he's going to, so we can kind of sync up with his Comic-Cons. We have plans of writing with Jana. We have Terry to do voiceovers for some of the Apogee things we're doing. Like, I want that community to just build and build and build until the point that we're all just a giant community. And I think that's perfection.
I think the government calls that a conglomerate.
Only if you're doing like Ponzi schemes, but we're not doing
I have some of those too. Hold on.
You close the drawer.
All right, Nick. So speaking of community, you had a thing that was your goal for season 4. You're muted.
Curses!
Curses, StreamYard! You don't know your hotkeys. Command D is supposed to allow me to talk. Not, hey, man, would you like to put a tab on this? And I'm like, no!
I didn't want to do that.
So you see me doing this, and I'm muted, and I just look like a raving lunatic as usual. 2 things. Merch. We're going to get the merch shop going in season 4. We're going to plug the hell out of that. Of all the sayings from all of our favorite guests, like, why does that make sense? Make it make sense. Why does that work?
I wish you a very stabby Christmas.
I wish you a very stabby Christmas. Now that's in play.
And a stabby New Year.
And a stabby New Year.
Stabby New Year.
And a happy Stabica.
Jana gave me that one.
So we're going to go nuts with that, and I want input from everybody that's been on the show so we can make that happen. Also, the Discord, another community chat that we can have other than what we have on Facebook, because that's what we have right now. The Discord is going to allow you communication with the hosts and guests that decide to join it. Allows you access to us 24/7. Might be a little late because we're all in different time zones, and we'd like this little thing called sleep. So, but it's a way for all of our, our guests, our co-hosts, and our fans to intermingle with each other and get to know each other a little better, and maybe possibly come up with ideas for future episodes. So yeah, I'm super stoked about that, and that's coming in season 4.
All right. So we've been at it for Stabby.
I have a question for Terry and Jana.
Okay, go for it.
What
They're all
would
ears.
you like to see in 2024?
Ooh.
Intrigued, Terry says, with her facial expression.
Oh, yes.
Ooh,
Well, that's part of voice acting. You get your face into it. I love the fantasy stuff, so, more of that. That's been fun.
Yeah, I think that I've just listened to a whole bunch of suggestions, and I'm like, all right, let's do that. Let's do all the things. I'm there for it.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
I, for one, welcome our Stabby overlords.
You got
All hail
what?
the Stabby!
All right.
I can't afford to
All right,
lose
let's
any more
go.
blood.
And did somebody not do a voice-off challenge episode where we were supposed to get a bunch of narrators together and just let the
We
shenanigans?
were going to get a bunch of people that
yeah.
can do voice actors.
Ooh.
Terry, of
I'll
course,
listen
is
to that one.
included. She's got top billing. I will take second billing.
Challenge accepted.
There we go. All right. Well, we appreciate you, dear listener, for sticking with us for this hour and a half. We've had fun. As you can tell with the new format and the new friends we've built together, we could keep going, and sometimes we do for hours and hours on the after show about all things we probably wouldn't want people to know we think about, mostly because, your public image, you don't want to offend people. Like when I tell Nick, well, I probably shouldn't say that, so we'll just start the wrap up.
I'm trying not to get canceled this year.
Right. I
Yeah.
noticed you're less bombastic
Well-
on your Facebook. I appreciate the growth.
Yeah.
I've been
So was-
trying really hard.
You've tamed him well. So
I want everybody's money, so I'm not going to offend the entire base, or other people's bases. All bases come together. All your base belong to us.
I just want you to end season 3 the way we started, where I remind you, dear listener, dear viewer, to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platform. Your reviews help the right readers find the right book. So do your part, people. And sometimes reviews are gold mines of insanity and shenanigans. Like the iconic, these are not the Jimmy Dean sausages I ordered on a book review.
But they were.
There's a funny website that at one point we found, and I'd have to dig, and I'm too lazy, that tracks all the ludicrous reviews. I just know the Hasbro's gummy bear bag. It's like 5 pounds of gummy bears.
Oh,
The reviews in
amazing.
that one about the gastrointestinal distress are
The
hilarious.
diet gummy bears.
The diet gummy bears are on there
The
too.
diet gummy bears.
There's gold in them there hills is all I'm saying. But if you don't buy it from
Or
Amazon,
oil.
if you buy it wide, there are places to review as well. If you can't find a place to review, there's Goodreads. And if you don't want to do that because it's affiliated with, I think, Amazon, you can start a website and review it there too. We love reviews. They really do help spread the good word. And when you ever wonder why the series you like didn't get continued, it's because you didn't tell your friends and neighbors about it. And so nobody knew. And so the author didn't make money and he couldn't justify the expense of editing, covers, marketing, and all the things, people. So if you want what the product you like to keep going, do your part and spread the good word, right? You can evangelize, as they say, in the business. So with that being said, Terry, how can listeners and viewers find you?
I am most commonly tracked down on the Book of Faces, as so many
The
are.
book face? Oh,
The Book Face.
better than the face of Bo.
All right. And Jana S. Brown, who sometimes cosplays as Jenna Ray. How can they find you? And as usual, links will be in the show notes.
Yep, go to the show notes. All the links are there. But you can find me at opalkingdompress.com. You can find me on Facebook under Janet S. Brown Writes or under Jenna Ray. And I'm under those 2 names all over the interwebs. So I am not hard to track down.
All right. And I'm going to leave you before I tell you how you can find us, dear listener, with J.R. Handley's words of wisdom for the culmination of 2023. When you are on a diet, don't use scented candles that smell like food. It's a recipe for torture. This is your
Day
biggest
one,
mistake.
bro.
This
I'm
is your
getting
biggest
craving
mistake.
for like cinnamon toast crunch.
I
Just
lit
lighting.
the candle, not checking what it was. It was orange. I said, "Oh, it's fall." And then, as we're halfway through the episode, oh, it's cinnamon rolls. Holy bejesus!
Thank God there's not a
Wow.
chicken fried steak candle. I would be
Not
bet
yet.
there is somewhere.
500 pounds. There probably is, and it's probably at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel has some good ones. And the memes of candles where there's the one that's the outhouse from Iraq and it's like global war on terror. And it's just the picture of the hot box in the desert brings back so many horrific memories.
You can't smell a picture and then show that meme. Absolutely, you can smell a picture.
Yep, I smell that picture. It's misery and death. And you know that scene in Cold Hand Luke where he says, put him in the box? And I didn't understand why that was torture. Iraq convinced me why that was torture. 140 degrees and you're in an outhouse. Oh,
There's a reason why I dropped 25 pounds there, and that's at a time where I didn't have 25 pounds to lose.
Yeah, it was a miserable experience. And I'm just saying, like, some of the best memes out there are from those candles. So you know, just putting that out there. Choose your candle scent wisely.
Be responsible, folks. Come on.
Be responsible. And with that being said, you could find us on our link tree, where it's linktr.ee, linktree/Blasters and Blades podcast. Again, linktree/Blasters and Blades podcast, where we link to all the things, the BitChutes, the Rumbles, the YouTubes, the Twitters. You can email us at blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. Don't worry about remembering. It's in the link tree. You can find our Facebook group and Facebook page. Soon you'll find a permanent link to our Discord. We are working on getting that finalized, and formal. Whatever. We'll make up new words. That's what we do. We're writers. And you could follow, most importantly, Madam Stabby Stab on the Instagrams, the Twitters, and the emails for all the hate mail and shenanigans that are generally not fit to print, but we're going to show it anyway, because why not? That's what we do, people.
I made the t-shirt cry again.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. We have our website, which is anchor.fm/Blasters Tack and Tack Blades. Again, anchor.fm/Blasters Tack and Tack Blades, where for as little as 99 cents a month, you can help keep the lights on. Or you can support the show more directly over at buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Be sure to put in the comment section that it's for the podcast, and I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink until their eyeballs pop out coffee beans. It will be glorious.
I love coffee.
No,
I
I'm
love
just kidding.
coffee too. Speaking of supporting the show, links in the show notes. Coffee Brand Coffee. We're affiliates. We get a 10%. You get 10% discount when you use our code Podcast Grunts, and we get a little bit of percentage. Don't ask me for the math on that, because I was a grunt for a reason, and I wasn't one of those.
It's VA math.
Yeah, I wasn't one of those special high-speed math grunts. Like, I wasn't a sniper, and I wasn't a mortars guy. I was just your average light infantry guy that sometimes played with a scope. So
I pick up heavy things, then I move them for miles, then I set them down for no reason.
Pretty much. And then you carry so much weight, you do the 45 lean forward, 45 degrees, and then when you get home and your back is broken and your knees are broken, the VA says, not service connected.
It's a counterbalance for your rucksack, so you don't tip over on the back end like a turtle.
Anyway, on that note, thank you, Terry, for ringing in the end of season 4 with us. And you too, Ms. Jenna S. Brown. We appreciate it. We look forward to many more episodes with you in season 4 and beyond. To infinity
working with Papa
and beyond. With that being said, thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Handley, and this was the Blasters and Blades podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time, where we'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom, razzle dazzle.
Booyah!
Tinsel. And that's the takeaway from season 3.
It's totally tinsel.
Totally
Totally tinsel.
the
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye-bye, y'all.